Thanks, Cheryl.
Okay, so we have confirmed that we are indeed live.
Thank you. Good afternoon. My name is Joseph Seamek, Director of Public Works for Harford County, and I'm Chairman of the Northeast Maryland Waste Disposal Authority. We've provided information on the authority's website to allow the public to view this meeting via YouTube live stream. Today's authority meeting agenda does have closed session items. I do ask that members please identify yourselves before speaking or to make or second a motion. Andrew, you've confirmed that we have established a quorum?
We do indeed have a quorum today.
And so the chair calls to order the 364th meeting of the Northeast Maryland Waste Disposal Authority, June 9th, 2022. The minutes of the previous meeting on April 7th of 2022 have been reviewed and approved by the members, and they are posted on the authority's website. Is there a motion on action item 2022-3-1?
Charles Glass, so move.
Thank you. Second?
Second, Mark DeLuca.
Thank you. Discussion?
Thank you. Action item 2022-3-1 is for the Montgomery County Construction Contractor Services Contract Award for the Goody Landfill Remediation Project. The source of funding will be a Montgomery County purchase order. The county has been working with the Department of the Environment under a consent order agreement to address certain concerns and issues at the Goody Landfill located in Montgomery County, Rockville, Maryland. The county and the authority collaborated on the development of a request for proposals for the first of 3 separate contracts for the implementation of the corrective measures and conceptual development of the potential land uses at the landfill. On October 4, 2021, the authority on behalf of the county and under the direction of the county requested submission of proposals by certain qualified remediation construction contractor firms or contractor teams, referenced as the construction contractor offer, to provide the remediation construction services required for the construction of the MDE-approved corrective measures at the Goody Landfill in Rockville, Maryland. The qualified firms participated in the earlier RFQ process. As a result of the request for proposals for Phase 2 of the procurement, the final contract will require that the selected offer meet county minority, female, and disability-owned business MFD program and living wage requirements. In alphabetical order, the 3 firms deemed qualified to move onto the proposal stage were Allen Myers and Hamilton Team, Harnden Group, and Ryan Inc. Addenda were issued on the, to each of these firms on the following days: October 4, 2021, concurrent with the RFP, with technical updates and revised details to the drawing set. October 21, 2021, technical contract updates. November 15, 2021, revised submittal date and technical updates. November 18, 2021, additional site visit dates and technical updates. December 17, 2021, revised submittal date and technical updates. January 4, 2022, technical updates in response to contract term inquiries. On February 21st, 2022, Ryan Inc. withdrew from further consideration, citing another recent contract award. Further clarification requests were sent to Allen Myers and Hamilton Team and to the Harden Group, each separately on February 25th, 2022 for the March 1st, 2022 submission. Both firms submitted responses to the February 14 clarification request by the required closing time on March 1st, 2022. The authority, county, DE, that's the design engineer, and CME, construction management engineer, conducted interviews for the project with each firm separately on March 15, 2022. Following the interviews, the review team and the authority prepared and issued a request for best and final offer, as well as clarification to each firm on March 28, 2022. We received those clarifications by the required closing time on April 21st, 2022. Both firms provided complete proposals that met the requirements of the RFQ and RFP, including the county's required MFD program participation percentages. Each firm demonstrated an ability to perform the work as outlined in the county-approved specifications. The review team used the evaluation criteria from the RFP in the review deliberations. Briefly, this was the compliance with standing licenses, statements, certifications, and disclosures, demonstrated ability and methodology to to meet potential federal, state, and local MDE, WBE requirements. This is a 21% requirement for Montgomery County, as well as the extent and quality of the proposed participation of these firms. Qualifications, experience of the offer as presented in their representative projects. Qualifications and experience of the offer as presented in the key personnel matrix and resumes. The clarity, completeness, and responsiveness of the written proposal and the sequence of work planned, and if required, the oral presentations, and they were required. The price, and then an overall comprehensive best value consideration. The overall proposal from Allen Myers and Hamilton was better when factoring in the detailed experience on larger projects and levels of surety on the MFD required portion of the project. Harnden is significantly less expensive up front, but hedged on the potential increases. Allen Myers' Hamilton team is more expensive, but talked about working towards the best solution. Allen Myers has the financial stability to be able to cover expenses that may be a change order for Harnden. Allen Myers offered to support for a community outreach program and proposed a vertically integrated management approach to complete the project. Included in your presentation also is the engineer's estimate for the project of $53,766,502. Allen Myers Hamilton is $55,377,777, and the Harnden Group BAFO was $48,227,334. Staff requests approval to enter into the construction services contract substantially in the form of that was attached to the package, inclusive of the 100% design drawings and project manual and all relevant permits, as reviewed and approved by the appropriate regulatory bodies, be made to Allen Myers and Hamilton, subject to final written approval by Montgomery County.
Thank you. Are there any questions or any discussion from the members? Hearing none, all in favor of action item 2022-3-1, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? Any abstentions?
I'd like to abstain. Charles Glass.
Hearing no, thank you. Hearing no opposition, that item is approved. Is there a motion on action item 2022-3-2?
So moved, Mr. Chairman. Rhodey Holdhouse.
Thank you. Second?
Second, Deandra Walker.
Thank you. Discussion?
Action item 2022-3-2 is the OSHA compliance Baltimore City contract award. The source of funding for this will be the City of Baltimore Memorandum of Understanding that is currently under consideration in the city. The City of Baltimore requested that the authority provide technical expertise to conduct a comprehensive assessment of the Kane Street Sanitation Yard and other facilities operated by the Department of Public Works, Bureau of Solid Waste, and to develop occupational safety and health administration compliance master plan that identifies all infrastructural and operational improvements that can be made at the facilities to meet OSHA standards and other applicable laws and regulations, including the Americans with Disabilities Act. Advertising took place on the authority's website, the U-Maryland Marketplace Advantage website, and an email to current third authority on-call consulting firms. A distribution list from a previous repair project at the Quarantine Road landfill, RFP in 2021, and the list of city MWBOO firms. And these are the city-certified minority women business firms. The pre-proposal meeting took place on February 18th, 2022. We issued 3 addenda. The first addenda on February 14th, 2022 to eliminate one of the pre-proposal dates as it conflicted with a city holiday. March 2nd, 2022 to summarize the pre-proposal meeting and provide technical clarification and respond to questions. And then finally on March 28th, 2022 to provide technical clarifications and respond to questions. The table below in your packet presents in alphabetical order the 2 proposals that were received, those being EA Engineering Science and Technology, Inc., PBC, and Labella Associates. Each offeror met the requirements of the RFP and demonstrated that they are qualified to perform the work. Each firm proposed a qualified team with recent relevant experience and proposed substantive work to be performed by qualified MBE firms. Importantly, each firm has recent and relevant experience with projects in the city and are familiar with city processes and facilities. EA's proposal came in at $828,110.06. LaBelle and Associates came in at $400,757. Staff is requesting approval to enter into a contract with LaBelle for the proposed price of $400,757,000, subject to execution of a memorandum of understanding with the City of Baltimore. The city will provide funding upon the execution of the MOU.
Thank you. Are there any questions or any discussion from the members? Hearing none, all in favor of action item 2022-3-2, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? Any abstentions? Hearing no opposition, that item is approved. Is there a motion on action item 2022-3-3?
So move, Deandra Walker.
Thank you. Second?
Second, Rhodey Holdhouse.
Thank you. Discussion?
Action item 2022-3-3, on-call contract amendment. This is for the extension of current on-call consulting contracts, particularly SCS Engineer. The current on-call contract with SCS is set to expire June 30, 2022. However, the firm is currently performing work for several member jurisdictions that is expected to extend through September 2022. Such projects include construction improvement work for Baltimore County Eastern Sanitary Landfill, including an amended scope to provide expansion work, including design, bid support, CQA, and closeout support. Work for Montgomery County in connection to the transfer station fire detection and suppression system installation. Finalizing the Montgomery County Goody landfill remediation preparation work, extended due to minor utility delays. And in Hartford County, in conjunction with the Maryland Environmental Service, environmental monitoring and reporting support services to cover the end of the reporting term for the Bush Valley landfill. Staff is seeking approval to extend the current contract term for SCS through September 30, 2022 to allow for the completion of the above referenced projects. The respective task orders and/or work orders for such work will also be extended as applicable, meaning also that the underlying funding mechanisms will be in place to support the additional time needed to bring the work to completion.
Thank you. Are there any questions or any discussion from the members? Hearing none, all in favor of action item 2022-3-3, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? Any abstentions? Hearing no opposition, that item is approved. Is there a motion on action item 2022-3-4?
So moved, Willie Weiner.
Thank you. Second?
Second, Charles Glass.
Thank you. Discussion?
Action item 2022-3-4, budget amendments. We are walking on a minor update to the first item. Howard County Export Annapolis Junction account, an increase in the amount of, and the revised number is $122,093.70 is needed for the Howard County Export account to support services through the end of fiscal year 22. This revised amount reflects the actual purchase order that was delivered by the county in the last few days. The second item is not changed. This is for the Montgomery County Landfill Gas to Energy account. An increase in the amount of $200,000 is needed for the county's LFGE account to support work at the Oaks and Goody landfills through the end of fiscal year 2022. So staff is requesting budget amounts as amended in the amounts above set forth.
Thank you. Are there any questions or discussion from the members?
Mr. Chairman, do we have to vote for an amendment to change that amount in the action item?
Andrew, do we have the updated amount shown on as part of the addendum package, or do we have to actually have a separate vote to confirm that difference in the dollar amount?
It is not in the it was not in the most recent update, so we should then break these apart and have a separate vote on that amended amount, and then, if approved, vote on the entire action item. So we would need a separate motion for that walked-on amount.
And that amount, again, was the amended amount for the Howard County item is what?
Is $122,093.70.
So may I have a motion to amend the item number 1 within action item 2022-3-4 to indicate an increase in the amount of $122,093.73 as being the increase to the Howard County export account?
So moved, Mr. Chairman. Rhodey Holdhouse.
Thank you. Second?
Second, Deandra Walker.
Thank you. All in favor of making the amendment to that item, the dollar amount in item 1 of part of action item? All in favor say aye.
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 Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? Thank you. With that amendment approved, I will now, any further discussion about action item 2022-3-4 as amended? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
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 Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? Hearing no opposition, that item is approved. Is there a motion on action item 2022-3-5?
So move. This is Mark DeLuca.
Thank you. Second?
Second, Willie Weiner.
Thank you. Discussion?
Action item 2022-3-5 is the office lease renewal. The source of funding will be the annual administrative budget. The office lease renewal was a discussion item on the April 7th board meeting, and such discussion item is included in those meeting minutes. Briefly, the authority's office lease expires on January 31st, 2024. We currently pay $20.24 per square foot, full service, escalating by 3% annually on both the office and storage spaces. We occupy currently 5,039 square feet of office space and 500 square feet of storage space, for a total of 5,539 rentable square feet. Staff is seeking to extend the lease early to take advantage of the tenant-friendly conditions that currently exist in the Central Business District, CBD, office market in Baltimore City. The negotiated rate at the commencement of the new lease term is $21 per rentable square foot for the office space and $10 per rentable square foot for the storage space, with a 2.75% annual escalator. The new lease term would begin on February 1st, 2024, and will be for a period of 5 years and 6 months. We do anticipate that rates will increase over the next year or so with the relocation of state of Maryland employees to the CBD. As an update, it was currently announced that the Department of Human Services, DHS, will move 700 workers into 150,000 square feet at 25 South Charles Street, paying $3.65 million a year in rent under a 10-year lease that was approved without comment by the Board of Public Works. As a reminder, we did look into office relocation, including the use of flex space, but determined that the lease renewal makes the most sense fiscally and practically and allows the authority to support the governor's initiative for business and agencies to remain in the CBD. Staff is requesting that the board approve the renewal of the office lease and authorize the executive director to execute a renewal term sheet substantially reflecting the terms above, as well as the resulting lease amendment documentation.
Thank you. Are there any questions or any discussion from the members? Hearing none, all in favor of action item 2022-3-5, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Hearing no opposition, that item is approved. Is there a motion on action item 2022-3-6?
So moved, Deandra Walker.
Thank you.
Second.
Second?
Rhodey Holdhouse, second.
Thank you. Discussion?
So this is the action item 2022-3-6, fiscal year 2023 budget. There will be some walk-on items based on some recent updates. So as a reminder, we'll need to take those up individually for a vote. I'm not going to read through the entire package that was sent to you. Within the package, we have our FY23 goals and our fiscal year 2023 preliminary work plan. Both of these documents are a summary of the work that staff has performed over the last few months in coordination with your staff and in some cases with you directly to set forth the activities that the authority is going to undertake in this coming fiscal year as planned currently. As a reminder, we can amend our plan through our budget and reallocate staff efforts as new priorities do emerge within our member jurisdictions. What I would like to do is just highlight for each jurisdiction just an item or two as we go through in terms of goals as representation of how we're going to be working. So for Anne Arundel County, as example, we're going to be working to manage the agreement for the operations of the composting facility at the county's Millersville Landfill and Resource Recovery Facility, including the MDA reporting, permit and site compliance, invoicing, site visits, quarterly meetings with the company, et cetera, supporting the county in their efforts at that facility. For Baltimore City, we're going to be providing continued support for the comprehensive review and planning for future recycling and solid waste operations and implementation of those recommendations if requested. In Baltimore County, we're going to be working quite a bit on projects related to the implementation of the 5-year tactical plan. In Carroll County, we currently have out on the street now, and we will continue to assist with the development of a contract for a landfill master plan, as well as starting those design efforts. In Frederick County, one highlight is to assist with the compost pad refurbishment program that's currently underway. As previously mentioned, in Harford County, we're working in conjunction with MES to support certain environmental monitoring programs at the Bush Valley landfill. In Howard County, continued support for the design efforts for the next phase of the composting operations at Alpha Ridge Landfill. For Montgomery County, it's going to be the continued direction and management of the operator to maintain the RRF in accordance with the service agreement. And then, as mentioned earlier in the first action item, manage the contract for the Goody landfill remediation project. Regionally, we're hoping to execute master service agreements and confirmations for mattress recycling for those jurisdictions that are interested, and possibly issue a request for expression of interest for the diversion of certain reusable building materials or household goods. and then broadly within the region. We're going to continue to support our, continue to publish our quarterly newsletter and continue to participate in local solid waste and recycling organizations for the benefit of the members. Those are under our goals. The work plan itself is a more broadly expanded description of those goals with the budget numbers rolled in. The budget itself is under Attachment C, and again, this, as we're going to be walking on a few items, and I'll point those out in a moment, that this number will change ultimately, but we will provide you with an updated final number. Attachment F to your budget package reflects the walk-on that we are bringing. I do want to point out before we get to the walk-on that this is the attachment that addresses any changes or extensions to our current on-call contracts for the suite that we manage. I do want to point out that we are executing the second optional year for Clifton Larson Allen, and this is to continue our annual audit that we have performed. For our on-call engineers, these are amendments to the new contracts that were approved in April. For reference, those contracts each started with $500,000 as an upset limit. Due to work in the succeeding months, we've identified new projects that will start on or about July 1st that require us to amend certain of these contracts. Specifically for ARM Group, we're asking for an increase of $700,000, $300,000 for Baltimore City compliance work, $200,000 for Montgomery County RF water access project, and $200,000 for Frederick County compost pad work. For EA Engineering, an increase of $750,000, $250,000 for Montgomery County Goody work, and $500,000 for Howard County, including composting work. And this is where we were walking on the change. For Stearns, Conrad, and Smith Engineers, Inc., this is STS Engineers, we had initially requested an increase of $1.6 million. However, we are requesting an increase of $2.5 million. And this is reflective of $700,000 for Montgomery County landfill gas to energy work instead of what was currently listed, and an additional $500,000 for scale house work at the Montgomery County transfer station. And Mr. Chair, Rody Holdhouse has his hand up. Should we stop for questions at this point?
Sure.
Okay.
Thank you. You were on a roll, so I didn't want to interrupt. I just have a quick question. We obviously approved the first item for Goody landfill remediation. Just looking at what the county has online, they have some planned public benefits, basically like park and trails and things like that, playgrounds. Is that something that would come later? I see that you have design funding for passive beneficial uses in the FY23 budget. So would there be in some future year construction of those beneficial uses?
Actually, yes, that is included in the design package itself. And so the primary focus of that project is the environmental remediation requirements as stipulated under the consent order. However, the county does have a master, and please, this is not the capital master plan. Look at it as a lowercase master plan for that particular site. And the county has spent a lot of time working with the the neighboring communities in helping to shape what that facility will look like for potential passive recreational use after the remediation is complete. And so if you were to spend time in that final 100% drawing set, you would see that there are design elements from the types of vegetation that are going to be planted there. There's a dog park that is envisioned. There are walking trails, educational trails. The contract itself for the contractor does include building these in after the remediation design, the design remediation improvements are made. And so the intention is that any of these passive reuses would not harm the remediation project itself.
Okay, so that's already, the construction of those features is already in the total price for Allen Myers and Hamilton?
That is correct, yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right, thank you.
Yes.
Andrew, do you have any other, the jotting down the walk-on amendment that you mentioned for the request for on-call services, specifically Stearns? Are there others that I missed, earlier ones that you had mentioned?
I believe I may have.
Looking to do. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, I may have misspoken to make it seem plural. This is the one item that we're walking on under the budget.
Okay, all right, thank you. So from and again, you've got a lot more detail related to accomplishments of what you've already done, which are pretty clear as part of attachment G. What I'm going to suggest is let's have the vote to include the walk-on amendment, or I'm going to ask for a motion to approve the walk-on amendment to item 2022-3-6 as presented, specifically under the on-call engineering for Stearns, specifically instead of the agenda item indicating the increase of 1.6 million, and an increase or a proposed increase of $2.5 million. And I'll entertain a motion on that amendment.
So moved, Mr. Chairman. Rhodey Holdhouse.
Thank you, Rhodey. Second?
Second, Deandra Walker.
Thank you. All in favor of approving that walk-on amendment to item 6 of the particular agenda? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? Thank you. That amendment is approved. Andrew, does that complete your presentation related to the budget items and the other sort of functional items included in the budget?
One last item, just as the board prepares through to go into further discussion. Attachment H is the fiscal year 2023 salary survey, and this is the COLA survey that we performed of the member jurisdictions as well for the state of Maryland, which you may find useful in your discussions.
Understood. I would like to ask for a motion to go into closed session under Maryland Annotated Code, Open Meetings Act, Section 3-305B1, to discuss compensation and performance evaluation of employees and the executive director of the authority. Do I have a motion?
So moved, Widow Weiner.
Thank you. A second?
Second, Phil Harris, Frederick County.
Thank you.
And
All
so
in
what we're
favor
gonna,
of, I'm sorry, do we need to approve going into closed session, or a movement in a second is enough to do so?
go ahead and vote to approve.
All in favor of going into closed session as presented, please say aye.
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 Opposed? Thank you. We will turn off the live stream to the public during the closed session, and I will reach out to the executive director via text to ask him to reopen that when we return to open session.
Mr. Chairman, can
Yes.
someone volunteer to take minutes while you all are in closed session, please?
Thank you for reminding me. Since you suggested it, can I presume that you'd be willing to take those minutes?
It
think
should be
that would-
someone who's present in
Oh,
closed
I'm sorry.
session.
Again, I don't have the benefit of the screen. Does one of the members, would one of the members like to volunteer to be the minute taker during the course of the closed session?
Yeah, I can do that. This is Rody Holdhouse.
Thank you, Rhodey.
Mr. Chairman?
Okay, so we're, so we're still live, so we're gonna go ahead and, put up a sign, and then we will announce when the stream is closed. Okay, we are back live. Okay, we are. Okay, we are good.
So we are back in open session. And discussion was completed on, and I guess we have a motion and a second on action item 2022-3-6. And I'm going to ask, Andrew, should I ask for a separate vote on the items that were discussed in the closed session? Because those would be technically amendments to the action item in the agenda that was presented. Or do we make that inclusive to the motion that we're approving the action item, inclusive of the items discussed, of the details that were discussed as part of the closed session?
So the budget included the modeling for the recommended amount of increase.
Okay.
So that should be there. The breakdown does not require a vote.
Okay.
And so I think you would just go ahead and report out the discussion and then vote on the budget as with our walk-on amendment.
Okay. Do we report out the summary of our decision that came out of the closed session, or is that part of the details of the budget that I apologize for not recalling how we handled it last year.
Oh, and that is not a problem. Historically, we've reported out the discussion of the overall conclusions.
Okay.
You report that out, and then you take the final vote, and then we move to, if there are any further items for discussion.
Got it. Okay, thank you.
Yep.
So as part of the discussion of compensation and performance of the executive director and compensation for employees, the recommendation would be to have a 3% COLA and 2% merit increase for the employees. And then as part of the review of the executive director, Andrew's performance, there was a number of positive of comments and impressions and of his performance, as is doing very, very well in the role that he has assumed, so that we're all very comfortable with the level of his performance, and that the recommendation of the compensation for the executive director would be a 3% COLA and a 3% merit
Will,
based on his performance.
good, how are you?
Mr. Wayner, you are still up on a
Okay.
live mic. Okay.
So
Okay,
with those items and the
Okay,
the
that's
walk-on amendment
that's great.
that to item 2022-3-6, along with the salary issues that I just described, all in favor of action item 2022-3-6, please say aye.
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 Need a motion.
Any opposed?
We have a motion from the start.
Any abstentions? Hearing no opposition, that item is approved. Do the members have any additional items for discussion at this
If I
time?
can get just a couple tickets, but for the, prefer Sunday.
Pardon us. Hey, Willie?
Or Saturday. But
Willie,
let me
your
call you
mic
back.
is still hot.
Hello?
Mike, your microphone is still on.
Okay, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
So I'll, just in case that there's a couple voices on the line. Do any of the members have any additional items for discussion at this time? Thank you. There being no further business on the agenda, this meeting is adjourned. Thank you all for your time and good input. The longer meeting than usual, but a lot of really great stuff to talk about. So thank you.
Thanks, folks.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you. Good job, everyone.